Hi guys, welcome to Maz's Movement Minis. Today we are focusing on the posterior chain, or the whole back of the body. So we're actually going to begin standing. So come to the top of your mat, feet about hip width distance. Take a gentle soft bend in the knees. Hands can relax by the side of your body, or you can bring the hands to the heart if you like. Just take a few breaths here, feeling your feet connect to the ground. Maybe taking a little sway from side to side or movement backwards and forwards, just to really settle in here. Good. Now let's have a little think about our core. Some of us, when we stand, stick our bums out. A lot of weight goes into the lower back. Some of us perhaps go the opposite. We round, we really deeply tuck the tailbone. So you want to find this nice neutral spine. There is a slight tuck of the tailbone, belly button draws back towards the spine, chest is broad. All right, so from here we're going to access our hamstrings really gently to begin. We'll take the hands onto your hips as you take a nice big breath in. And then we're going to keep those knees soft as we start to hinge from our hips. So the hips go back as the belly slowly comes down towards the thighs. If you've got really, really tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees even more here. And maybe you grab onto your opposite elbows. Maybe you take a beautiful sway from side to side. Making sure the neck is long, the head is heavy. You could even nod the head, shake the head if that feels nice. All right, from here we'll come into our halfway lift. So we're going to slide our hands up to our shins or our thighs, straighten the legs and lift the chest. Again, we're thinking of drawing belly button up and in, nice neutral spine. We're trying to not lock out the knees, and you should get quite a little stretch for the hamstrings here. Take one more breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to bend those knees again, come back down to the ground. And we're going to place our palms down, step it back to downward facing dog. And as this is the first downward dog, as always, feel free to have a little wiggle, a little pedal out here. As we are focusing on the back of the body, bending one knee and pressing the opposite heel into the ground will help access the calf muscles, hamstrings. Pressing the belly back towards the thighs will really help lengthen the spine. And again, the head is heavy, the neck is long, you're looking back towards the knees. All right, so we're going to come into a little modified vinyasa to just warm the body up here. So we're going to breathe in, ripple forward to plank. Breathe out, drop the knees, round your upper back like you're coming into cat pose, and let the bum drop towards the heels. And then using a bit of power in those legs, we're going to breathe in and spring straight back to our plank, shoulders over wrists. And then breathe out, take the bum back to the sky. So we'll do that one more time. Breathe in, ripple forward to your plank, nice long line through back of body. Breathe out, dropping the knees, rounding into the upper back, bum to heels. Again, breath in, press into palms, spring forward to your plank. And then breathe it out as the bum lifts up to the sky. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to breathe in, take the right leg up to the sky. Keep it straight, reach through that heel, try and point the thigh of that leg down to the floor, hips stay level. You should feel that in the hamstring. And then we're slowly going to step that foot all the way through to the top of the mat and gently let our back knees come down. So we're setting up for our half splits here. If you'd like, hands can be on bricks or blocks or books if you have them. We're going to breathe in as the chest lifts tall. As we breathe out, we're slowly going to flex the toes towards the face and start to straighten our front leg. We're going to make sure that hip draws back, so right hip back, left hip forward. And just be really mindful of what the upper back is doing. If it's rounding, you're just putting a bit more pressure on the spine. Instead, can you press the belly towards the thigh and almost have a little lift in the chest? Yeah, staying here, breathing here. The knee can bend as deeply as it needs to if you've got really tight hamstrings. And then we're slowly going to press back into that foot. And we're going to step it back to our tabletop. From our tabletops, we're going to come down in one nice long line to belly. So chest comes over the wrists, hug elbows in, and softly come down to your mat. So from here, we're going to bring both hands out in front, just wider than the shoulders. And again, feet can go a little bit wider than the hips. Press the hip creases down into the floor. As we breathe in, we're going to lift our right leg and left arm. So here we should really start to feel the glutes activate of the back leg. There's a lift and extension in the spine as we lift up through that left hand. Keep reaching, keep reaching. And then soften that down. So we'll do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to lift the left leg, activate those glutes, and lift the right fingertips forward. Imagine you're being lengthened through the crown of your head, being pulled back by your toes. Hold, hold, hold. And soften. Bring the hands to the chest. Press up to tabletop. And then make your way up to downward facing dog. Again, opportunity to wiggle. Do what feels good. Notice if you feel any different on one side. Now you've worked the right hand side of your body. And then we'll set up for left hand side. So we're going to breathe in, lift the left leg up to the sky. Again, trying to keep the hips level to the mat, reaching through the heel, pressing the right heel down to the floor will also access the calf muscles. And then slowly with control, step left foot to top of mat and let back knee come down. So half splits on this side. The breath in lifts you up onto your fingertips, chest is tall. And then breath out, flex the toes towards the face and start to straighten the leg. And again, draw left hip back, right hip slightly forward, and a broadness in the chest. You might find that one side's a little bit easier than the other. And holding a pose like this is when the breath really becomes important. So just focus on that breath. And then we're going to bend back into that front knee. This time we're going to tuck our back toes and we're going to hop them in to meet our front foot. And we're going to soften the belly back to the thighs for our forward fold. Hands can stay heavy, belly works to thighs, spine is long. And then we're going to press down into our feet. Reach the arms all the way up and you're using your legs to lift you, not your back. And bring the hands through to the heart. Good, okay, so back body should be a little bit warmer. We've got one more flow, bringing a couple of standing poses in now. So, we'll start with chair. You can stay facing the top of your mat. You're gonna step your feet, knees and thighs together. Imagine the chair behind you, ideally primary school chair, if not bar stool. And we're gonna slowly stick that bum out, find that hinge and sit back into our chair. Now the lower back takes a bit of weight here, so to prevent that, we're going to tuck the tailbone, draw that belly button up and in. And then you can either have your hands in front, or if you've got a bit more shoulder mobility, you can lift the arms up to the sky. Make sure you can see your toes, keep pressing the knees together, the thighs together, lower body should be nice and strong here. Take a few more breaths. And then breathe it out, come all the way down to your fold. You can take the feet apart now. Breath in, slide the hands onto shins or thighs, straighten the legs, lift the chest, draw the shoulders back into the ears, away from the ears even. Bring the hands down, step it back, downward facing dog. So belly presses back to thighs, you're pressing into fingertips, backs of knuckles. Take a big breath in, take the right leg up to the sky. Again, it's straight. Reach as high as you can with that heel and step the foot all the way through. Top of your mat. So we're setting up for warrior one. Back heel's gonna come down to the ground. Toes are gonna turn towards the side edge of your mat. Engage your thighs and take a big breath in. Lift arms to the sky. And then sink a little bit down into those hips. Hips are really important here. They'll tend to want to open out to the side. So you're really drawing that front hip back hip slightly forward, and then the arms are lifting to the sky. Good. This can be a back bend. We're trying not to have a back bend. So think about tucking that tailbone, maybe even bending the back knee just. And you can get a little calf stretch if you press into that little toe of your back foot. Good. From here, bring the hands through to your heart. We're going to straighten our front leg. You might want to step your back foot in a bit, making sure the hips are level to the top of your mat. Take a breath in. Then we're going to hinge from our hips. Just like we did in our half split, the belly's going to come towards the thighs. And you're going to stop wherever you feel your hamstrings start to switch on. There should be quite a deep stretch here. You're still pressing the back heel away from you. And if you're feeling quite flexy, you can continue the journey, belly towards thigh. You can take hands on blocks or books again, but stay where it feels good for your body. Breathe into that hamstring stretch. There's quite a lot going on in that front leg. Remember, you can bend the knee if it's too much. Then to come out, bend into that front knee and come all the way up. Okay, last little bit of our flow. We're going to come into our warrior 3. So all of our weight is going to come into our front leg. And we're going to start to lift the back leg off the floor. We're going to lift our chest forward, reach back with the heel and try and keep the hip facing down to the ground. If you want to work a little bit harder, bend the knee of your standing leg. Hold here for 3. Reach through the crown of the head for 2. Ooh, and bring that foot back up with you. 4, 1. Nice work. Wiggle it out, shake it out. And we've just got to do that flow one more time. So feet together, knees together. We're setting up the chair. So bum comes back. Imagine there's a chair behind you. Take that little tuck of the tailbone to engage the core, and then bring the arms in front or up by the ears. Breathing into this, checking you can still see your toes. Getting a nice bit of fire in that lower body. One more breath in. And then let the breath out, soften you all the way down. Sliding hands to shins or thighs. Nice big breath in, flat back. Breathe out, step it back to your downward facing dog. Again, opportunity to wiggle, to notice if one side of the body feels a bit different to the other. And let's take the left leg up now. Reach it to the sky, big breath in. And breathing out, stepping it through to the top. We're going to drop our back heel. Make sure the little toe, the toes are pointing to the side edge of your mat. And press into your feet as you take a big breath in. And sink down into those hips for warrior 1. Again, draw that front hip back hip slightly forward. Pressing into the side edge of that back foot is going to give you a little bit of an ankle stretch, calf stretch. And then about those arms lifting. Strong midline, strong core, deep bend in front knee. From here, hands to heart or to hips. Straighten front leg. Possibility of hopping back foot in. Make sure the hips are level to the top of your mat. Big breath in. And then start to find that hinge. Barely working towards thighs. And again, you stop at the point that feels good for your body. You're pressing into that back heel. Maybe the belly is going a little bit lower. Maybe the hands are releasing. But hold at that point that feels good. Keep drawing left hip back, right hip forward. And then to come out safely, bend into that front knee. Lifting all the way up. All right, we're finishing off with our warrior 3. So all the weight goes into that front leg. Reach the fingertips back. That's going to give a lift to the chest. And take your back foot off the floor. Chest comes forward, spine is long. This hip really wants to open, so you're going to point it down to the floor. Maybe you're going to bend the standing leg for that little bit more work. Holding, breathing. And then slowly Bring that foot back up with you. Nice. Shake it out. Release it out. Oh, so we're just going to round off with a little bit of a stretch now for those legs. So come to sit down on your mat. Get down there any way that you wish. All right. Feet flat on the floor. Knees bent. We're going to cross our right leg through our left leg and just press that right knee away. That might be enough for you. Or maybe you can reach through, grab onto the left shin, left thigh. And just take a few breaths here. Aiming to feel this stretch towards the right glute. Just releasing what we've just done on the legs, on the glutes, lower body. And then gently releasing from that. Bring the right foot down, this time cross the left foot over the right. Flex those toes, really pressing the left knee away, and that really might be enough for your body. Or maybe you can reach through. Head and shoulders need to stay connected to the floor, so if that's not happening for you, get rid of the grab. Again, holding here, a few more breaths. Left knee still tracks out, open. Right knee drawing in. And then gently release. Plant those feet on the ground. Let the palms soften by the side of your body. And this is going to be where we end our practice.